Hi, Gary Port, NY Divorce Facts, here with Matcha, Azuki, Yuzu. Gamoshu just landed on my shoulder. Yuzu just laid another egg yesterday, but I think she's getting bored of it. Azuki is out. Today we're going to talk about a question I get asked a lot. How do you start a divorce? Now, if you have no children, no property, and have been married for less than 2 years, you don't even need a lawyer, and I tell people that. But you have kids, you have property, you've been married for a while, you're going to need some legal advice. No fault means just that. Before, we had no fault divorce in New York. You had to prove that your spouse committed adultery. You had to prove that your spouse was so violent that you couldn't live in the same house. You had to prove that your spouse was in jail for 5 years or more. Okay, we got rid of that. That's only the beginning. Because we have to worry about division of property. We've got to worry about children. We have debt. And I've had divorces that fall apart just on fighting over who's getting the debt. So no fault does not mean no work. Uncontested only works if everyone agrees on everything. And agreeing is, oh, why can't you just get my spouse to give me everything I want? That's not agreeing. Agreeing is not be reasonable, do it my way. Agreeing is everyone comes to the same decision. You give up something, your spouse gives up something, and we now have an agreement. Now, if you can all agree on everything, a mediator is fine. But if you can't agree, if you're fighting on things, then you've got a contested, no-fault divorce. So, step one, can you guys agree to everything? If you can't agree, then you don't have an uncontested divorce. I always suggest, if you can, sit down with your spouse and try to work out the framework for a settlement, then maybe go to a mediator. If you can't work out a framework for a settlement, then you guys are going to need to get lawyers to argue for you. Can you talk to your spouse? If you can, great. Highly recommend it. If you can't, hire an attorney. And then your attorney will work with you to get what you can get within the context of the law. But context of the law is not what I want, but what can I get under the law. I want the house. If the house is bought during marriage, you only get half the house. But you can trade the house for something else. In my police divorces, we often trade the pension for the house. So the police officer gets the pension and the spouse gets the house. Sit down, figure out what you want, then sit down with your spouse and figure out what they want. See if you guys can come to a meeting of minds. Always try to work it out between the two of you. If you have any questions, remember, call me at Port and Sava, 516-352-2999. At Port and Sava, I help you get on with the rest of your life.